the microphone.
Microphone handoff. Thank you, Reverend Catherine. Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful prayer, isn't it? We're going to get to that space someday where we don't even have to pray about it because we already know the truth, right?